Hello, it's Strangey here from the Jacko and Strangey channel. Here are the top 10 YouTube watch vloggers, as you've never seen them before. We hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, please click like and more importantly, click to subscribe. We're a very new YouTube channel and we really do need your support to be able to make many more of these videos. Anyway, on with the top 10 YouTube watch vloggers.
Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Today I'm doing paid reviews because I don't do shit for free. Dear Archie, I am currently in the market for my first watch worth wearing. To be honest and upfront with you, I recently purchased a Tag Heuer Aqua Racer 500 meters. After about a month, I realized I made a horrible mistake. I sold the piece and managed to recuperate most of my expenses. I really lucked out there. I absolutely love the idea of a Submariner no date on my wrist. The f*** factor doesn't get any better than that. I have also tried on an Omega. Man on the f***ing moon! 1861. I love the idea of this watch. My first off watch shall be new from an authorized dealer, as this will be the keystone to build on with future collection. What would Archie do? I hope you enjoy the crispy Andrew Jackson. Cheers from Chicago, Tom. An interesting dilemma here we've got, and I gotta be honest with you. I'm not happy that you want to buy new. I don't like you buying new. I'm not happy about that at all. Which one would I go for? The Submariner or the Omega? Wow, that's a very, very good question there. I'd probably go for the Omega. I think it just pips the Rolex, okay? Personally, I tell you why I would go the Omega route. One, if I was going to buy a Rolex, I could not buy the ceramic. It would have to be the non-ceramic. The next thing is, look, I'll be honest with you. You're making 100 grand. Yeah. Fuck, you got an ego. You got an ego. You think you're a master of the universe. I've met billionaires. Let me tell you. You've got all the pretensions of being a fucking jerk. So just keep that ego in check. You need to get sacked a few times. You need to be caught screaming the boss's daughter or the boss's secretary. That's what you need to happen to get that smirk off your face. Submariner is you'd just be gentrified as an asshole, which you're starting to become. Let me guess, you're going to buy a Porsche Boxster soon? The question is, are you a prick after you get the Porsche or before you get the Porsche? Don't like it, Tom. Don't like it. You need a bit of a reality check there. Go for the Omega. So I don't see why you're even talking to these saleswomen. You want the best discount. Don't buy it from the boutique. They don't discount. Go to an Omega reseller. If you're going to buy it new, go to an Omega reseller. At least haggle hard. Personally, buy the f***ing Omega and just be done with it. This is bullshit. Okay, the Omega's a great watch. Personally, the 321 is the coolest one to get, but you don't buy used. You don't buy used. Little preppy boy doesn't buy used. Pooh. Pooh-bah. Buy the Omega Speedmaster, man on the f***ing moon. Buy it and be done. The guru has spoken. I'm Archibald Chesterfield III. Tell me what you nasty, vicious, foul-mouthed, vinyl f***ers think of that.
There's more like this to come. Don't you worry about that.
I've got a YouTube channel and I like to talk about watches. Lately, I've been thinking about social media more broadly and the effect it's having on watch enthusiasm. Go back 30 years and, watch marketing was simple. Patek told you that their watches were for people with generational wealth. Rolex was for successful people, and all other brands just had some movie stars or race car drivers wearing their watches. This basically hasn't changed much at all. Not a lot of brands have really come up with a better idea. Audemars Piguet basically just had the revolutionary idea to embrace rappers and basketball players. And at the time, that was markedly insane. But it was just, the same template. You find a celebrity and you have them flaunt your product. We want those products that some famous people wear. That's always been the case, and it's not changing. But I do think that social media is contributing negatively to this in some ways. Today, we instantly know that Mark Zuckerberg bought basically the entire FP Journe catalog. He just went out and just swiped his MasterCard and bought them all. We know that Mark Wahlberg got himself a Cubitus. Nico and company, they will make fun of YouTubers who own Richard Mille and Jacob & Co. watches. It's fun. It's all with the intent to entertain. But it emphasizes the consumerist component of watches. Every time Nico and others, who I quite enjoy, by the way, does one of his, cha-ching videos and states how much a watch is worth, I just kind of die a little bit inside. Transparency is good, but talking constantly about prices reduces the point of the hobby. The goodness of a watch isn't a function of its monetary value. The Mona Lisa isn't good because it's expensive. It's expensive because it's good. Let's get a couple of statements out of the way. Rolex is God tier. Rolex is for posers. Rolex buyers are idiots. Christopher Ward is an overpriced homage brand. Christopher Ward is an exceptional value brand. Everything Swiss is overpriced. Chinese watches are slave labor, government subsidized thefts of intellectual property. YouTubers are useless shills. YouTubers are fun and useful. Some people like some things and dislike other things. That's the way it should be. Personally, I won't apologize for liking Christopher Ward, and I will speak about Studio Underdog however much I want, and no amount of days since Studio Underdog was last mentioned comments are going to make a difference. I mean, why? Why can't we love what we love without hating on those that love something else? Rolex owners aren't idiots, and Chinese watch owners are not deluded poors. We like something and other things we don't. Social media sometimes forces us to take a position and draw hard lines where there don't need to be hard lines. Anyway, I hope you don't think this was too much of a rant. I love watches. Hopefully you can tell that. I love sharing my hobby with you guys, and I love what social media can do as a positive. I do just think it's important to consider the potential negatives of the way we approach things through social media. Our hobby won't thrive if we reduce it to specs. Our hobby doesn't benefit from reductive conclusions about Swiss-made or Chinese-made. Our passion dies if we reduce it to secondary pricing and value retention. We don't benefit as enthusiasts by organizing ourselves as lovers and haters, fors and againsts. YouTube and other mediums have to remain independent, and the more independent they are, the more powerful they will become as a medium. It doesn't have to be detached from the industry, but creative control is essential. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. They were just ramblings of a man with way too much time to overthink things and a huge passion for watches. Share your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe. Cheers.
It wasn't exactly a rip-snorting sales success, but the Nomos Lambda is literally the most watch a watch has ever been. If watch designers charged by the line, the Lambda would be the result, a layout that does the absolute most with as little as possible. It is purer than the Virgin Mary in an Evian advert. When I couldn't afford a Black Bay, I bought an Oris Divers 65, and I'm glad I did because it's an absolute legend of a watch. Come bath time, you'll be able to channel your inner Jacques Cousteau with an icon more 60s than getting really good at music and then dying too soon. They don't call it the El Primero because it's a South American cartel boss. In fact, they don't call it the El Primero at all. This is the Chronomaster original from Zenith, and you should accept no substitute, because as the name implies, it was the first. Except, it wasn't, but it still saved the Daytona. Nothing says money more than a monegasque casino, and despite that sounding as tasteful as Holy Communion at Hooters, it's actually one of the most exquisite watches Roger Dubuis made. Jacob & Co. may have the hit rate of a blind sniper, but even the most cataract-ridden combatant gets a bullseye every once in a while. If you're looking for master levels of control over your chronograph and calendar, then the Master Control chronograph calendar from Jaeger-LeCoultre is a must. The naming convention may hold up as well as a marshmallow mantelpiece, but the execution is absolutely rock solid. If the Nomos Lambda is the most watch, the Longines Master Calendar chronograph has the most watch, at least at the entry level. With more hands than a Star Wars convention, the Master Calendar chronograph is a deserving second appearance for the disenfranchised legend Longines. Sometimes a watch is so bad it's actually good, and that's absolutely not the case for the pupil-puckering Rolex Daytona Sacco. With a leopard print dial and a strap made from Masambula's undercrackers, it could only be made worse with a ring of orange gems lining the dial, which it has. Nevertheless, Nicolas Cage has one, so it's on the list. Despite the name, Romain Gaultier's logical one makes as much sense to me as waterproof dishwasher tablets, and I mean that in a good way. Not only is the brain-scrambling constant force mechanism capable of keeping it real for 2 solid days, it offers a better finish than a Thai massage parlour. Owning a watch whose name belongs to someone who's not been dead for the last 200 years is a uniquely special experience, especially when that name is Remy Cool's and the watch is the Tourbillon Atelier. Simple, slick and sumptuously executed, the Tourbillon Atelier ticks more boxes than a hypochondriac's health insurance. You might call the Nautilus Patek Philippe's most outstanding icon, but to that I say piffle, because it's the 5327G that makes for the perfect picture of old man Patek. It is quintessential, archetypal, prototypical, and all the other words that make my point sound more clever. First he made an annual calendar with just 3 extra parts. Then he made a perpetual calendar with just 9 extra parts. This is the genius mind of Ludwig Oechlin, brought to life through Oxen Jr. Next he's going to solve fusion power with just a handful of coins in a baked bean can. If you want a watch that's more British than singing the national anthem through a mouthful of steak and kidney pie in the rain, then the Fears by Garrick is going to blow your trousers off. Just don't try to make small talk with it. Currently itching my wallet most is the Chopard Alpine Eagle because it is lovely and I want one. That is all. This is going to be as controversial as Ted Bundy's babysitting business, but the first ever Richard Mille, the RM001 of 2001, was a seminal moment in the turning of the tide. Before that, watches were as fun as a wet firework. Remember, if you can't get what you want, simply set fire to everyone else's. That way no one can have one. See you next time.
Today I'm going to show off what I think is the best Hamilton watch on the market right now. Oh, blimey. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today I'm going to talk about a watch from a brand called Hamilton. Yes, I'm a big fan of this brand, particularly the khaki range. I've owned several field mechanicals in my time, the Interstellar Pilot's watch, big fan of the Murph, and more recently, the Expedition. Now, one of the biggest and probably the last ever great achievements in watchmaking, before Quartz made them all go was done in 1969. Brands from Seiko to Zenith were trying to produce the first automatic chronograph. Well, not many people know, but Breitling, Tag, which were Heuer back then, and Hamilton all got together like some super Swiss team to try and come up with their own automatic chronograph movement. Those 3 companies all released an automatic chronograph at the same time. Now, even in 2025, where the brand is owned by the Swatch Group and they don't use the caliber that was in that 69 watch, it still is very significant to own a watch that looks like this because it's a big part of the brand's history. And out of Tag Heuer and Breitling, Hamilton's automatic chronographs are significantly cheaper, at least by half, but is just as significant as the other 2. I'm so in love with chronographs at the minute, especially mechanical ones. Stop, reset, beautiful. Hello. On my 6.5-inch wrist, and this is really enjoyable. Yes, the lug to lug is slightly too big maybe for my wrist, but I certainly don't feel that this watch is too thick. Obviously, when you don't have a big bezel, the dial becomes bigger. It's a slight illusion as the dial doesn't really start until the green part, but if I was to own this watch, it probably would have the biggest dial. But this leather strap, so comfortable. I don't feel like it's top heavy. Yes, I would have loved this watch to maybe be 38 or 39 millimeters, but I think 40 millimeters for this watch, I think is the sweet spot. So there we go, the Hamilton Intramatic Automatic Chronograph. Now on the Francis and Gay website right now, you can buy this watch for £2,035. If you want to look for a Tag Heuer chronograph, you're looking at around £4,000. And if you're looking for a Breitling, Well, we're talking £5,000. A Hamilton automatic chronograph is very significant. It's a big deal for the likes of Hamilton, and to own a watch with a bit of brand DNA in it, well, that's why I'm in this hobby. So here it is, my wise views of the Hamilton Intramatic automatic chronograph. It's quite a tongue twister. Here we go. This is quite nice. It's classy, I like the colours. It's a little blingy and a bit chunky. She's talking about me. But I actually quite like this one. People, does this mean I get the green flag go ahead to buy myself a new Hamilton? Possibly not, but still. Thank you so much to Francis and Gay for sending this one in to me. I'll be sending this one back ASAP. Oh, I don't want to though.
This is a video I've been putting off doing for a while now because I know Rolex makes people feel all kinds of different ways. And then on top of that, there are specific Rolex models that extra make people feel all kinds of different ways because of how unattainable they are. And if you're new or newer to watches, the watch we're talking about today is one of those unattainable Rolex models. It really isn't an easy watch to get at retail. We sat on a waiting list for years and years to get this one. But I truly think this is the best Rolex professional model. Or at the very least, it's my favorite Rolex professional model. Me saying this is the best Rolex sports model is extremely subjective. If you ask 10 different watch geeks what the best Rolex is, you'd get 13 different answers. But for me, the GMT Master 2, particularly the BLRO, is this meeting spot of iconic storied, and it's a watch that defines its category. And for that reason, I want to talk about this watch. When it comes to the bi-color bezel with the GMT hand, Rolex completely owns this category. In my opinion, the GMT complication might be the most useful one for most people, whether you're traveling for work, or maybe you make phone calls far away, or maybe you're an immigrant like me, so it's nice to see the time back home. Tracking multiple time zones is just cool. The story goes that back in the 1950s, Pan American Airlines approached Rolex and asked them to develop a watch for their pilots. This led to the birth of the GMT Master, and namely the first reference of this watch, the 6542, a watch that doesn't look all that different from the modern expression of the GMT Master 2. With the rotating bezel, you can actually track up to 3 time zones, and I feel like this is kind of the perfect holiday watch with the 100 meters water resistance and the ability to track multiple time zones. I don't know why this is my favorite modern Rolex. I can't pin it down to a single reason, but it's a bunch of little reasons. I think there's the link of my husband's love for this watch and how much it means to him, and then the romance of tracking multiple time zones, and then it just being a watch that defines its category with these perfect proportions. I don't know. I just like it. I know it's a hard one to get at retail. I know everyone's going to comment about this in the comment section. But if you're on the waiting list waiting for one of these and you're feeling like you're never going to get it, keep holding out, keep waiting. Show your mug at the AD right now and just remind them you still want this watch. Because you never know, you could get it still at retail. Don't go with that mentality of, oh, I'm never going to get this, or no one ever gets these. Because it's not true. People do. And why not be you? Just show your face a lot. Come on, you're gonna get it. Keep holding out. Okay, I'm blathering on now, but I'd love to know, what is your favorite modern Rolex? Give it a comment in those comments down below. Don't forget to do all that YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, hit him with the Patreon song.
Subscribe and you'll be sure to get them as soon as we make them. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and in today's Q&A we are going to, amongst other things, talk about the Rolex Sleeper line, so let's get started. Question from Loop the Loop. Pretty sure I mispronounced that, but I like it that way. Do you rotate wearing all the watches in your collection or just go with what you fancy? I pretty much go with whatever I fancy that day, depending on what I'm doing that day, what I'm wearing. Then I just go with whatever watch I think works best. I don't really have like a rotation. I think some people actually do that, don't they? Where they have like a Monday to Wednesday, a Wednesday to Friday, and then something for the weekend. Is that a thing? I think I did read about something like that. Loop the loop. If you are watching this, what do you do? Is that something you do, like have a rotation system? Or like, let's say you wear this watch for a week and then put it back and then wear another one? I don't know. I just do whatever. And that's the thing. On a little side note, sometimes it happens that I'm not wearing a watch for like weeks and weeks, and I do kind of feel bad. I don't know. Do you know that feeling where you feel a bit bad for like certain watches because they don't really get that much attention? Which sometimes can be a sign of falling out of love with a watch, and then it might have to go. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Last question for today comes from Watch Gnosis. Is the Yachtmaster 40 the sleeper in the Rolex range? Would you consider the 37mm version? Well, I absolutely do agree with you. It does feel like the Yachtmaster 40 and 37 are somewhat of a sleeper. And I can't really tell you why, to be honest, because I really, 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 really like them. I myself am a big fan of I call it the White Walker, the light grey dial with the light blue color accents, because it does remind me of the Night King from Game of Thrones. And it's such a great watch. And that 37mm, it fits perfectly on my wrist. I think it looks much better on my wrist as any Submariner. And I don't really understand why people seem to overlook this one. Because that's the thing. I see a lot of Submariners on wrists and I think like, oh, that might be a bit too bulky for you. I think those could really benefit from a 37mm Yachtmaster, in my opinion at least. So I am excited to see where the Yachtmaster is going, and I really hope that Rolex shows that range some more love. That would be cool to see. And so that was my Q&A for today's video. Thank you so much for submitting all your questions on YouTube and on Instagram. If you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram if you like, or subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more videos like that. And also hit the little bell icon, because not many people do that. So you will get a notification whenever I post something new. And that was it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.
There's more like this to come. Don't you worry about that.
Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. As today is a 90s in theme, I thought I'd wear a watch from the 90s. This is my Gerard Perregaux Classic with the Power Reserve. Only 201 of these made in the entire world. I did a whole video about it. Do check it out if you missed it. Very Breguet in style as well, which is actually probably the best segue we're going to get today. Building on the momentum of the Moon Swatch in 2022, then the Blank Pan, or should I say Blank Pain, collab in 2023. I suspect of all the brands under the Swatch umbrella corporation, and by the way that was a deliberate reference to Resident Evil, Breguet will most likely be next. There simply is not a mechanical watch in the world that in some way doesn't feature components or design elements inspired by this most aristocratic of Swiss watchmakers. However, just like most blue-blooded entities, they have been slow to adapt to today's Black Mirror social media reality and still operate with very dated traditional marketing methods. While it will undoubtedly cheapen the stuffy old-world prestige of Breguet, unfortunately, there's no doubt that accessible bioceramic Happy Meal versions of their watches that trigger queues outside of watch stores will strategically put the spotlight on this heritage brand. And who knows, maybe it might just get the Breguet name back into the conversation when discussing Grail watches instead of your predictable, Patek, AP, VC, the Holy Trinity, right? I'm always hoping for the modestly scaled, formal and minimalist dress watch to be in vogue again. After the pandemic further exacerbated the casualization of everyday attire with working from home in gym jams, or in my case, leisure tracksuits, like some kind of extra in a Nick Love movie. When the world did return to some degree of normalcy, if it ever did, I was anticipating this would spark a renewed interest in more elegant watches as we emerged from our lockdown sartorial slumbers. It didn't happen. I fear the culprit is just my own hybridized sense of style. Terry Thomas's stiff upper lip correctitude, mixed with Steve McQueen's golden era Americana, a dash of Tony Soprano wise guy chic, a little bit of Leonardo Notte from 1992, and a light sprinkling of Vittorio De Sica or Fraser Crane classicism. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a progression of interest into more of the late 80s and 90s as a trend, considering the 90s is now firmly vintage, as we all continue to inevitably age into boring old farterdom. And yes, it seems like yesterday. As an 80s baby myself, who grew up in, well, first Italy during the difficult Anni di Piombo, then to the UK, I was raised on a rich 90s-fueled diet, dominated by waiting for dial-up, or resource gathering in Age of Empires, AOL Messenger pings, hoping Scully and Mulder would finally reveal the truth, all to a soundtrack of gangster rap or drum and bass. Thank you for watching. Onwards and upwards. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.
Subscribe and you'll be sure to get them as soon as we make them. Yeah.
Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre here, and in this video, we are going to be answering some of your questions. At risk of drawing too fine a point to it, I'd like to get your take on the difference between a watch collector and an enthusiast. If I had to simplify it down, a enthusiast is somebody that is going to have an interest in a topic or a subject, typically will also be more into collectibles and things of that sort, so there might be a little crossover there. But then a collector is anyone who collects a thing, like actually tangibly holds something and will like to accumulate different things, typically associated with a hobby, or maybe even have it for professional reasons. Now, not every enthusiast necessarily needs to be a collector, and not every collector is an enthusiast. Next question asks, do you have any other type of high quality machine gear like pocket knives or pens? So the short answer is no. I certainly appreciate finely made things, and high quality craftsmanship is something that I can appreciate regardless of what we're talking about. And when somebody has enthusiasm for something, that's infectious to me. I don't even have to be into the subject matter. People tell me all the time, just because I get so into talking about watches, like they don't even have any interest in it, but I just get all excited about it, and they like the passion more than even the subject itself, and that keeps them interested, which I think says a lot. Montblanc pens, things like that, I have never really dove into that world, but I could see some interest there. The other quality items that I like to accumulate mostly are around heritage brands and say Goodyear welted boots, stitch down boots, like that stuff that I've kind of become a little bit more ingrained within that community, and I like, you know, learning more about that. Also selvage denim, big fan of all of this, and just learning about how these old crafted materials were built on these loom machines back in the day, and how also Japanese selvage denim, like that's something I'm very interested in too. Anything finely made and something that's made to last, and also can tell a little bit about ourselves and be part of our human experience, because I don't want to be caught up in material just for material's sake. The reason why I like certain objects or things is because of how they can connect to our human experience, and how when we use them, they become a part of us. Like that is the only way I can even value a good and a creation of a product. That is what I connect with more than really anything else. Of course, there's some design elements, but that all goes hand in hand with that same theory that I have about it being an element of who we are. If I don't have any connection to that product and I can't see how I can use it, then it's hard for me to see it anything more than just a simple object on a table or just laying out. But if you have any creators on YouTube or anywhere else that you would recommend me getting lost in, for whether you're talking about pens or maybe knives. I'm interested in anything. I like all those different worlds, so leave some comments down below. I can use another more expensive hobby. But all right, guys, that's my video here for today, answering some of your questions. If you did enjoy it and you enjoy these style of videos, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I noticed that about 66%, so like 2/3 of the people that watch this channel are not subscribed. So if you are one of those people, not to call you out, please do subscribe. Would appreciate it. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.
Got some goodies for you to have a look at. It's not all of them, but it's certainly a nice selection. In fact, I don't quite know what's in the box. Let's find out. Are we ready? Some goodies. So where should we start? This is a AP Audemars Piguet offshore, and this particular model is called a navy. The reason it's called a navy is because I don't know if you can actually see, it might show up black on the video, but the subdials and the hour markers are blue, navy blue, and the buttons themselves are also navy blue. So this is a pretty fun watch. You can swim in it, you can really, drop it, you can do anything with it. Just a fun watch. I really enjoy this watch. This one comes with an alligator strap, and you can't swim in it, obviously, because it will destroy the alligator. So I replaced it with the rubber. I think it looks really, really good. So this is the Rolex Day Date Presidential, and this particular one is the 41mm model. It's the biggest one they make. They actually stopped making this one last year and replaced it with a 40mm one, which I don't quite understand why they did it. Great everyday watch. This is a Richard Mille RM1103, and this is one of the hardest watches to come by. Richard Mille make limited quantity of watches, highly complicated watches, and they don't allow many of them out in the marketplace. So this particular watch is worth substantially more than the retail price, which is already ridiculous, but people are paying even more ridiculous amounts for them because you just can't get them. This one, before I tell you much about it, I'm going to give everybody a shock. That weighs over a pound. So it's all gold. This is all gold, and it's also all diamonds. So this is an Audemars offshore. As you can see, every piece of it is diamond, and the actual bracelet itself is very thick, and it's all solid gold, solid back, and consequently weighs a ton. When you wear this watch, at the end of the day, you know you've been wearing it because it's so ridiculously heavy. And when I say ridiculously heavy, I mean ridiculously heavy. So I've shown you a bunch of watches today. Each and every one of them has a story behind it, why I bought them, why I was attracted to them, why I think it's a good watch to have. Didn't want to tell you too much about them because there's been a lot of watches here. We've taken a lot of time. But if you want to know more about them, please let me know in the comments. Anything else you want to see as well, let me know. I'll do my best to accommodate that for you. And we'll do some more watches in the future. Hey, what time is it? See ya.
Come on, admit it. That's the funniest thing you've seen all week.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I hate these guys acting like they bought a Rolex. That's a fake Rolex bag. Rolex has never made that bag, and you can buy them on AliExpress.com. I hate that family. Candy Ken, you ball bag. Rolex green is darker, and they didn't put Rolex on like a motherfucker. Sorry, I'm just getting emotional and angry because this guy pisses me off so much because he's a liar. Lying son of a bitch. This guy is so fake, it's ridiculous. Mate, I am seriously done with this shit. Ken, you're a son of a bitch. I am on a warpath. Banks are the worst. Let me tell you one thing, HSBC is the worst bank I have ever dealt with. No, I can't pay my staff because I can't log in because you guys keep in my business. I lost £7,000 today, big man. Sort this out, mate. Shit, cunts.
I am done with this. And I need a new phone as well. I am so done with this bullshit. I can't do my work. You're wearing watches and there's no need for that. I know that is actually really disrespectful to prostitutes. But what you're saying here is absolutely bullshit. That watch is not $100,000. If you paid $100,000, you have been this time from the backside without a condom. Cardi B, if you want to be a baller, buy factory. This watch is not made by Patek Philippe. This is a made-up aftermarket bullshit watch with not even a Patek Philippe case nor bracelet. Bro, he's been in the ass. Oh, right. Oh, there's... Are you absolutely out of your mind? And by the way, that watch is shit. It's worth all. Can't even see if the watch actually is legit. One thing I know is that the watch is covered with aftermarket bullshit diamonds. But what do you expect otherwise from guys that put sticks in their hair? The funny bit is about every single stone on these watches is that they were actually meant for the bin. They weren't good enough. They were shit. That's why they're on your wrist. Fine. Respect it. Do whatever you want. It's your money, not mine. Not my problem. Your problem. Thank Can I point out, he's not wearing two watches. He's wearing a Hublot piece of shit and a Whoop and the other wrist. I don't believe for a second that he ever bought a watch himself. I think he gets the watches out on loan. Like, he just wants to flex a brand. He has no idea what he's talking about. Jake Doherty, if you really bought those watches, if you're really the baller you say you are, show some receipts on, because I highly doubt you've ever bought a Richard Mille in your life. That guy has tattoos on his forehead. Why the is he wearing two watches? Such a boomer. Go yourself. It's over. I knocked you out. It's over. In one of the last videos, I challenged Jake Paul for a fight. You're next if you don't watch out. I'm definitely going to take a piss out of your collection if you don't watch the Oh, Cardone. Oh. The watch is a big wow. Cardone wearing such an incredible masterpiece is actually hurtful. It's actually hurting me. Humble. The only thing that's humble about you is your dick. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest clown of them all. Let's see what he has to say. He's been saying over a year he's coming to Belfast and I'm still waiting. What the are you doing, Tracks? By the way, he still owes me a pendant I paid for, $7,000 paid. I have been waiting for this for over a year. Tracks, we've asked you to help organizing this fight. I am training every day. I'm ready anytime. But let me be very clear. I'm not gonna fight you on the street like a bum. I want to be paid for this shit. Of course I want to be paid for this shit, you stupid. I want to fight you. I want to fight you in a ring, and I want to be properly paid for this shit. All joking aside, I'm absolutely getting sick of this. Jesse R. Hilton, you're a fat goof. Your baby cumbag, piece of shit. You. I run for nobody. I'm not gonna fight on the street. It's pure business. And if you want to talk business, let's do business. By the way, where the is my pendant, you piece of shit? Stick that up your hole. Come to Belfast. Where are you then, mate? I've been waiting for you for over a year.
Wow! Comment below on which one is your favourite. And again, please don't forget to subscribe, and thanks very much for watching.